Honourable Presiding Member, whilst we today debate various heads that come under the Ministry of Justice and also the provincial councils, there is a daily occurrence that is taking place in the seas of the north, where the fishermen from the Jaffna district and the northern province in general are losing their livelihoods on a daily basis. People from outside those waters are coming and they are using illegal fishing means, and they are literally destroying the livelihoods of the fishermen of the northern province. If you take the northern province, Honourable Presiding Member, there are roughly 50,000 families amounting to nearly 200,000 individuals who are directly involved in fishing. If you take the Jaffna district, 23,000 families and almost 100,000, if not more than 100,000 individuals directly involved in fishing. Now, the fishing livelihoods being destroyed is happening where fishermen from Sri Lanka who don't belong to the northeast have been coming to those areas, and with the help of the Navy and the armed forces, they are permitted to use illegal fishing means, and they are destroying the livelihoods. They are effectively competing unfairly to a point where the Navy continues to insist on oppressive conditions for the local fishermen, whereas these outsiders who come with the full support of the Navy are entitled to an open season of fishing. And as a result, those people are being severely handicapped. On top of that, Honourable Presiding Member, there have been encroachments from India, from fishermen from India, particularly Tamil Nadu, into the northern fishing waters. These are matters that we have consistently raised, not only in the consultative committee of the Ministry of Fisheries, but also under the consultative committees of the Ministry of Defence. We have raised it several times in the floor of this House, that these fishermen who don't belong to the northern area being allowed to come into those waters are destroying the livelihoods of the local fishermen. They are destroying the livelihoods of the local fishermen to the point where up to date the destruction is valued at over 600 million rupees. Up to date, in the northern province, the value of the damages done is at over 600 million rupees, and if you take Jaffna, purely Jaffna, it's at 250 million. So this situation cannot continue, Honourable Presiding Member, and we directly blame the Sri Lankan government for deliberately allowing this situation to persist. Deliberately allowing this situation to persist because it is a policy to pauperize the fishing community to a point where they cannot sustain their livelihoods by fishing and expect them to leave the coastline so that those areas can be colonized. This is happening at a time when the fisheries minister, the minister in charge of fisheries, the subject minister, is a man who claims to be elected from the north. A man who claims to get elected from the people of the north, from Jaffna, people's votes. Whilst he sits in the front benches of this government, this disaster is taking place. Can you imagine the anger that the people, the fisher folk in the north are facing? They elected a person to go and fight for them on behalf of them and to secure their rights in this government, and that man can't do a thing. He can't do a thing because he's overruled, or he himself is such a backboneless fellow that he has to get together with the military and carry on an agenda that destroys the very livelihoods of the people who voted for him. That is the situation that the people of the northern fisherfolk are facing. They have been consistently protesting. We, in fact, Honourable Presiding Member, wanted an adjournment debate. My colleague, Mr. Selvaraja Gajendran, asked for an adjournment debate yesterday. The chief opposition whip was good enough to, in fact, allocate that time yesterday for the debate to take place. But because of the way in which the adjournment debate subject, the motion was eventually finalized, the Indian High Commission felt that we were in some way trying to accuse them as well, and they asked us to withdraw the statement, and they gave us an assurance that regardless of what the Sri Lankan Navy does, they realize that the situation has reached a climax, it's reached a crisis situation, and that they have decided on their own accord to take steps to prevent Indian fishermen from encroaching. A foreign country can contact us and give us that assurance and ask us to defer a motion, but this government who claim and who in fact are ultimately responsible for the fishermen of the north cannot give us those assurances. Cannot give us those assurances, and a disgraceful minister of fishing continues to sit as a cabinet minister and a frontbench minister, despite the fact that his own government refuses to give those assurances. This is not to blame anybody else. The Navy today continues to be in the Northeast without the consent of the people of the Northeast. They are an occupying force. They are an occupying force, literally, Honourable Presiding Member, because they are occupying our private land. They confiscate our own land, and they are there. They maintain a presence. They harass us. They accuse us for all the wrong things. They harass us in the high seas, saying that they ask us for various passes and various proofs to allow us to continue to fish in our own waters, but they can't prevent foreign fishermen from encroaching and destroying our assets. Why are they there? For what purpose are they there? If they are there deliberately to allow these foreign forces and outsiders from the Northeast to come in and destroy the livelihoods of the fishermen of the Northeast, then they are there only for one purpose: to pauperize the fishing community, to destroy the economy to such an extent that they in fact leave the land that gives them an opportunity to fish so that others can come and colonize. It's a systematic genocidal agenda that this government is pursuing, and that must be placed on record. This is something that we have repeatedly brought up, and we will say it again. It is because of these forms of attitudes of consecutive governments that the Tamil people say that if we do not have our destiny in our own hands, we will not be able to sustain our identity on this island. And it is with respect to these sort of problems that we face that we must find solutions, not some arbitrary 13th Amendment or unitary state that in fact exacerbates our problems and makes us in fact consent to our own destruction. That cannot take place. Such decisions cannot be allowed, and we will consistently insist in this House that our rights be granted to a point that we ourselves can prevent these injustices from happening to our people. Thank you.